Welcome to the Writers and Illustrators of the Future podcast. This is John Goodwin, your host. Today's guest is a writer-winner from the United Kingdom, David Cleden.
Hello.
Hello, David. It's great to have you over here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
So, how long have you been writing?
Well, I've probably been writing since I can remember, really, but I started off as a reader, as I think many writers do. And pretty soon after that, I was trying to write my own stories. But I think a career got in the way, a family got in the way. And it's really in the last 5 or 6 years I've come back to it quite seriously, and which coincides with entering the competition as well.
Great. Now, how did you find out about the contest?
I think I found out about that online. It feels like a long time ago now. It's one of those regular occurrences every quarter. I get the reminder email from Joni, which is great. It makes me think I need to hurry up and finish my work in progress, get that submitted.
Right.
And it's been a really good prompt.
That's great. And then, now you've been entering how many times?
Well, I hadn't realized actually until I counted up just recently. I think 19 is my score, which surprised me.
Well, that's a definite congratulations to finally making it as a winner of the contest.
Yep. I feel like I wore you all down.
Hardly. That's we've got one winner this year that's entered 47 times. Okay.
Yeah, I'm beaten.
So it's not worrying someone else. It's actually your persistence,
absolutely.
Which is quite a hallmark and a testament to the writers that we've got in the contest. So, I mean, like Kevin Anderson, one of our judges, he entered probably that many times, but he never won. He actually ended up proing out.
Yeah.
But he learned the discipline of like submitting every quarter.
Yeah.
Which he said was one of the biggest things he got from the contest as an inspiring writer.
Yes, absolutely.
So, you said you had a career in between. So, did you go from wanting to become a writer and then something else and then something else and back to that? Or how did it go in your life?
Well, I think when I was very young, I kind of discovered Isaac Asimov, and he got me into science fiction, but he also got me into science. And whilst in my dreams, I always wanted to be a science fiction writer, I guess the way it actually panned out was I went down more of a science route. So I studied science at university, did a science-related job for a bit when I graduated. And then a bit later, as I say, I've been trying to write on and off really ever since, but came back to it seriously 5 or 6 years ago. Well,
that's great. As a point about Isaac Asimov, he was at one of the earlier Writers of the Future events.
See, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was when he was a young pup. He wrote some amazing little blurbs about Owen Hubbard's short fiction, how much he liked them and just was an inspiration for him. So
yeah.
So you told me about Asimov. Any other major influencers you've had that's inspired you as a writer?
Oh, many. Probably too many to remember. But I think I've got quite a broad taste. It's not just science fiction. I like fantasy as well. Some of what I've written is fantasy. So across the range, really. A lot of the sort of, I suppose I grew up with some of the classic writers, Asimov, Bradbury, Clarke, Thomas Dish, almost the alphabet of authors, I guess. But these days, I read quite a lot of people, particularly UK authors, I suppose, like Alistair Reynolds, Peter Hamilton, people like that, Stephen Baxter.
He was a winner from Writers of the Future.
I saw that, yes. Yeah. So, it's amazing, actually, how many people are.
Mm-hmm. So on, you mostly like to write science fiction or fantasy?
Probably more science fiction. I think I'm quite motivated by a sort of idea-focused story. Obviously, it's got to have the characterization in it, but some sort of science fictional idea really appeals to me. So a lot of my fiction aims to try and have some sort of idea like that is key to the story.
Got it. And then now with obviously as a writer and winning this contest, what do you see as your future track happening?
Well, who knows? I think from my perspective, one of the real benefits is really, I suppose, validation. It's always nice to be told what you've written is good enough to be read by other people, and there's no denying that that's what this competition gives you, which is great. And I think that's really important to a lot of beginning writers, because there's a lot of self-doubt, there's a lot of rejection, and it's hard to, sometimes it can feel very hard to keep going in the face of no apparent progress. So, and anything like this, I think, is really key to just helping sort of give some of that confidence to keep going, keep writing, keep having success, hopefully.
Yeah, well, that's what we definitely wanted, the hallmarks that was set up with the contest. But now, like I said, you've entered, how many times did you say again?
19.
19 times. So that's a lot of entries. So what made you decide that you wanted to keep on entering the contest? What was like the thing that sparked it? Because there's be other people in similar straits to yourself as a writer, and so something that can talk to them too. Like that's a lot of years.
I think stubbornness and determination probably about covers it. It's also very helpful. I was quite fortunate fairly early on in the process. I started to get honourable mentions. That's a great sort of incentive to think, well, hey, I've achieved a certain mark. And then a little bit later, I was lucky enough to get a silver honourable and mention, and then a couple of semi-finalists. So it sort of felt like I was gradually closing in on where I wanted to be. In fact, I think I did a calculation at one point that said mathematically, if I extrapolated from that set of results in about 3 years' time, then I should be hitting the winners group. So slightly ahead of the curve, which is great.
Well, one thing I would like to correct you on, it had nothing to do with luck.
No, I know.
There are a lot of submissions, and the judging, as you know, is only done by our judges. I didn't hear your name until after the number was taken off your entry and assigned a name. That's when I first heard your name. So it's strictly by merit alone that you won, and it wasn't like the luck of the draw.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. And there are, that's when you get up into that final level, of like you've got your honorable mentions and your finalists, and it's real tough, to decide. And so there's some definite, points that are looked for by the judges. And I'll have Dave Farland is separately going to be doing an interview on this blog that will be talking about what he looks for. Obviously, you've got what it took because you're here. So, any other things that we can look forward to seeing from you as a writer?
Well, in terms of publications, I was very fortunate, or very pleased anyway, to be published in Interzone. Just the last issue, actually, this year came out beginning of the year. So I'm carrying on writing short stories at the moment, hoping to get some of those published in the main magazines.
Okay, now with all the judges that are going to be here giving the workshop, anybody in particular looking forward to meet?
Oh, all of them. I mean, it's such a great roll call of well-known writers. It's really incredible. I mean, people like, well, I could name all of them. Let's not pick out individuals, but
I mean, it's been a while since we've had Orson Scott Card teaching the workshop, as well as Tim Powers and Dave Farland.
Yeah.
So we're very excited about that.
Yeah.
But are you interested in moving over into becoming a novel writer?
Yes, I would like to do that. I think I have held off a little bit, if I'm honest, because I wanted to focus on short stories and trying to hone writing skills through short stories. Obviously, novel writing is a different job in some respects. It shares a lot, but it requires a different pace and obviously a lot more investment in time. I feel, as probably most writers do, I'm quite time limited, so it felt like it was a better calculation to invest the time at the moment in short stories. But I've got a few ideas for novels.
Yeah, that's with Orson Scott Card, he does both short fiction as well as novels, and he'll be a good person to whose ear would be good to be bent by yourself to get some of his tips, which you'll be going over too.
Okay.
Because like you said, you can get your name recognition with short fiction, but you get a paycheck with the with the novels.
Yeah.
So on what are you most looking forward to this week?
I feel I've come here to learn primarily, and it's a great opportunity with that list of teachers who are coming. So really coming with an open mind to pick up what I can, and to meet the other writers and the illustrators as well. You know, I hope there'll be friendships made this week that'll last a lifetime, and that's really great.
Well, that's borne out for the last 35 years. So we're very excited that you're here this week. And again, congratulations on winning Writers of the Future.
Thank you.
And we'll look forward to getting more news from you as well, David. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for our next installment of the Writers of the Future podcast. Subscribe to the Writers of the Future podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Writers and Illustrators of the Future are contests created by L. Ron Hubbard to provide a means for the aspiring writer and artist to be seen and acknowledged. It is free to enter and open to new and amateur short story writers and artists of science fiction or fantasy.